Najib Razak's corruption conviction upheld by Malaysia's second highest court. The former premier is already looking towards the top court for recourse.
Dr. Oh San, Senior Fellow at the Singapore Institute of International Affairs, joins us live now for more on this story. Dr. Oh, what's next for Najib and how do you rate his chances for a successful final appeal in the High Court?
Well, indeed, he will be facing the final appeal at the federal court. That is the Malaysian version of the Supreme Court. But of course, with the appellate judges, all three of them unanimously upholding his conviction by the trial judge who wrote a very exhaustive grounds for judgment. I think it would be really surprising if the federal court were to reverse his conviction. So I think Najib Razak is perhaps looking forward to also some sort of royal pardon in order for him to get out of his legal trouble.
And Dr. give us a sense of the timeline. How long will this process take, and how do you see it impacting Najib's hopes of making a political comeback?
Well, number one, of course, the appeal to the highest court of the land, the process would take approximately a year, perhaps slightly less. If the election were to be held before that, I think constitutionally he is disqualified from contesting for any seat. If the election were to take place after the ruling by the federal court and he is acquitted by the federal court, then of course he could go ahead and run. And if he wins, well, he has been on a trajectory to once again to present himself as a possible, well, once and future prime minister.
Dr. Oh, scandals notwithstanding, Najib is a popular man. And we saw that in the recent Malacca state elections. He helped power UMNO towards that big win. How much does this ruling now complicate the political landscape?
Well, of course, I think Najib Razak remains and would remain quite popular among his ardent supporters, those who address him as Bosku, because they firmly believe that he is being politically persecuted. And they long for those days when he was the prime minister, where disbursement of resources, especially to the lower income groups, as well as to the rural constituencies, came rather readily, at least much more readily than now. So I think his conviction, while it would put, shall we say, a dent to his long road back to power, but, nowadays Malaysia's political scenario is indeed very volatile. So it remains to be seen whether he could indeed get out of this swarm of legal troubles and still project himself back to the premiership.
Absolutely, because the country itself is gearing towards the upcoming general election. So, everyone's asking about Najib's fortunes. And as you mentioned, a royal pardon could actually be on the table should UMNO win. What are the implications of that?
Well, of course, a royal pardon would absolve Najib of all his convictions, and he could then run for parliament and possibly even the premiership of the country. But of course, if all three levels of courts were to convict him and yet he is still being absolved, of course, it is a bit unseemly if we were to go back to the the prime ministerial office. But, legally, he could actually do so if indeed he is pardoned.
Dr. Oh San, a Senior Fellow at the Singapore Institute of International Affairs, we appreciate your thoughts.